This video on the RS is going to be an accumulation of I don't know how many days, because we are quite literally just waiting on parts, but I got a good amount of parts in today where we can start knocking out some stuff on our 2.5 RS. In this stage of the car, it's a lot of little stuff and a lot of waiting for body panels, but as we get these parts in, we're gonna start knocking all of this out so that way we can get through wrapping up this car. On the table behind me back here, I've got our rear speaker deck lid that we're gonna get installed. 2 new axle nuts, because when I dropped the fuel tank, I had to undo the axles. One of the power steering fittings that we've been missing. The fuel door bib insert, as well as all the other stuff, so that way we can actually bolt the fuel filler neck up. And the driver's door gasket. So with all of that, we can actually knock out a handful of things on this car to get it even closer. So we're just gonna start going on the table. We'll get our power steering fitting in, probably jump over to this fuel bib stuff, get this rear speaker deck lid in, which we're gonna have to put some adhesive glue on, which is totally fine. We can do that. This thing is actually in really, really good shape, considering most of the ones that you're gonna see out there are pretty beat up and tattered. So this thing looks phenomenal. So let's start getting this stuff on. First up, we got our fitting that's gotta go in right here, just like that. I gotta grab a bolt to bolt that thing down, and then that hose should go right about there. I like this one, I just don't, ooh, that one actually might work out perfect right there. I thought it was gonna be a bit too long, but I don't think that's the case. And then this hose can go right on like that. Get our fitting right there. And then clamp you down. Boom. Well, the return side of the power steering pump is done. For the high pressure side, I'm waiting on the fittings. I have the line, I just don't have the fittings right now. So once we get the fittings in, we can actually get the power steering system filled back up, get it bled, and then get the power steering side wrapped back up. This is the only thing that's stopping me from starting the car right now, is just this high pressure side for the power steering. Please remember, everybody, axle nuts are one-time use. Don't try to use them more than once. So there is a spot on here to knock the pin in. It's the anti-rotation piece on the axle pin. Or on the axle. There we go. I bought the proper lug nuts for these wheels too. I just don't have them yet. So in the meantime, these conical lugs are what we're using. Axle nuts are back in. I'm gonna do the fuel bib portion next. My body might be in the way for this one, but we gotta get the piece that goes in here and here. Run the drain tube down and in. Okay, yeah, this guy goes in and then the other piece. 'Cause that's right up against the body right there. We have our fuel door cap seal stuff all installed. There's a switch I gotta put here. It just blocks anything from going in there, but we'll do that through the trunk. If anybody's installing these panels at home, I would test fit this before you install this panel. We're pretty tight down here on the bottom right. The other 3 are totally fine, but it's hitting the back inner skin back there. So just test fit it. Just test fit and you'll be fine. But this is all sealed up now. Just killer, it's baller, it's stellar. Now we gotta do our rear liner piece. So we're gonna use some of this 3M headliner adhesive and spray it right up in here, stick all this back down so that way it adheres nicely again, because like you guys can see, it is it's a little old. So we'll adhere all this back down and we should be good to install this after it's cured. It says 60-minute cure time, so we'll see. I am gonna do like a little test spray in one spot over here. Do not, I think I want to like try to fold this. No, maybe, I don't know. We're gonna do this in sections, so do not spray it too close because it will spray wet. It says on the can 4 to 8 inches. It's pretty easy to control, so does not smell the best though, keep that in mind. Oh shit, see, like right there, I did not want to get that on there. I grabbed a rag to clean up any overspray. We're gonna have to hold this back for a minute because if it gets set down too early, it'll be too wet and it'll seep through. So that should be plenty right there. I want to let this get tacky. Honestly, I think that should be good right about there. Oh yeah. We don't want that to get stuck on the table though. So, okay. I might grab a paint stand for this. All right, so that should be good. This should be okay. I was gonna pop out these speaker vents, but I don't want to because they are holding the carpet where it needs to be, so minor sacrifices. Once we get this corner down, we'll let this sit for an hour under the infrared heaters, so that way this thing can cure the easiest. While this is curing, we're gonna jump to the driver's door seal because I do have a used one that we're gonna put on, so we're gonna clean it up and then get that one installed also. After letting the rear deck lid cure up a little bit, I got it slid in. It looks so good, especially having one that's not literally falling apart, tattered and whatnot. I need to find the child restraint pieces. I can use clips, but I would much rather have the ones that actually screw into the top frame. So I'm gonna keep an eye out for those, see if I can find a set on eBay. But for now, our interior is just a little bit more put together. Next up is this door, again, the passenger door. I actually have to come back in here and take this window regulator out. Whenever I use the switch for this door to roll this window up and down, I can hear the regulator trying to actuate, but it won't roll down. I believe that either the window track regulator is damaged or the motor is bad. So I hopped on eBay and I found a passenger side 1999 coupe window regulator with motor. This is in good working order. The one that is on this car has about 300,000 miles, so it doesn't surprise me that that one might be broken. I can get this window to roll down when using my voltage regulator. However, I can only get it to roll down when it has more than 12 volts. So it takes about 16 volts to roll this thing down. So I'm thinking that's either gonna be a motor issue. The regulator seemed a little bit wonky, but it's not a big deal. We're gonna go ahead, get this thing swapped out, get the new one in, test our window. So I got the window regulator swapped out, and now this window will roll down with the switch, but it won't roll up. But at like 8 volts, the window will roll down, so I'm starting to think that it's a window switch issue. So I am not going to worry about that right this second. The new regulator's in, it actually operates way smoother on this side than I thought it would. In addition to getting the window regulator and everything done, I was also able to build a high pressure power steering line out of some PTFE fittings and this special PTFE hose that I have. This is chemical and heat resistant, and I think is good up to like 20,000 PSI, so we should be good on that. I filled this up with as much power steering fluid as I had, but I am a little bit low still. So I do want to run the car for just a couple seconds to try to get that power steering pump to pull through as much of that fluid as I can to get as much of the air out of the system. So that way we can try to bleed the rack a little bit more. that should be enough run time to try to bleed out any more of that air in the system. Sounds good. Once it's actually like tuned, the sound will change a little bit with ignition timing and everything else like that, but not bad. No bad at all. The RS, we're gonna actually go walk away from this real quick because we need to go help Matt on one of our client cars. This is a client car that Matt has been working on. It's a 2018 to 2021 STI. I don't remember the very specific year. This thing originally came in with a seized engine. Matt installed an IAG 1150 with 950 heads. It's got a brand new 6870 on it, FIC 2150s. This car should make some sauce, but this car has been one of the most half-assed cars I think we've seen come through the shop. This car was originally from the East Coast. I actually know the prior owner of this car, and it's not the prior owner's fault for everything that we found, but it's got, like, we have already fixed pretty much everything on it. It had mismatched intercooler piping, which didn't fit, so yesterday I had to weld on an extension to this pipe here. We're fixing the fuel lines under the car right now because, actually, I'll let Matt tell you real quick.
Our issue, when somebody installed the lines on the back of this car, they had it running in the normal position on the left-hand side. Then they had it jot this way like this. And it went in between the driveline and the exhaust. So you were either sitting too low and igniting your fuel or going up high and hitting this stuff. And then that just spaghettifies everything.
In short, there was about...
You would blow your car up.
There was about ½ an inch of clearance between the fuel line and the drive shaft. You should never cross your fuel line between the heat shield. You should never go over the hump. Your fuel lines can run down on the driver's side from the fuel tank when you're using a radium hanger and running bigger lines up to the front of the car. They had ran these lines in between that heat shield up top and the drive shaft, and there's about ½ an inch there, and nothing was secured down. So God forbid one of those fuel lines gets grabbed by the drive shaft. Not only are you going to start slinging fuel on your hot exhaust, but your car's going to catch on fire, and it's a potential. It's not potential. It is a safety hazard. So yeah, we're fixing that right now.
So we're going through, and we were going to just move these over to the left-hand side and route them correctly up top. But the issue that we found out after I removed everything around it is these lines are maybe what a foot or two
too short.
So yeah, so now we're gonna make completely new lines for the feed and the main feed and the main return. So that's what we're doing.
AR, or Junior, is gonna be tuning this car on Tuesday, so it should make some pretty good power. The E85 car, obviously. So we're gonna run some new PTFE line real quick and get this thing fixed, so that way it's pretty much just sorted and good to go at this point. Fuel lines all fixed on this one, so Fernando's towing it down to his shop so that way it can get a base tune done tomorrow morning. They're gonna take care of cam brake and everything because I found out last night that there is no pump gas tune on this car and it was only tuned on E85. We don't like to do first starts and engine break-ins on ethanol. You can. Getting tuned on flex fuel anyways, and it's got to start with pump gas before it goes to E85, so it's a smart thing to do. I'm not gonna name drop anyone. I know who built this car, but there was a ton of corners cut. We were sending photos and telling the owner all the stuff we were finding, which is way more than we expected. So fuel lines are now ran in a safe position where they're not between the heat shield and the drive shaft. So that way there's nothing to stress. That is a big safety concern on cars. Do not run your fuel line. That's why on the RS we did them all out of hard line. Like it's a very important thing if you're gonna run bigger fuel lines. Be safe. We've got that client's blue STI out of here. I'm actually really excited for that car. I think that car's gonna be in the mid 900 range. 6870 FIC 2150s, Wall Bureau 535s, two of them, IAG 1150, IAG 950 heads. It's gonna make some good power. So the next couple days we have coming up are all dyno days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm gonna be filming every day. Now that things have calmed down after the new year, we're back in the swing of things, I should be able to get back on my normal schedule again. It's just, dude, it's so hectic running a business. We're doing this giveaway right now. I'm doing this book authoring for an EJ rebuild. I have never been stretched in so many more directions in my life. We're trying to get the RS done. So we're getting through it. Now that we've got the RS there's literally nothing else I can do to the RS until we get the rest of these body panels in. So I am going to put the RS back on the back burner for a little while, up until I have all of the body panels back, so that way we can just cruise through the rest of this build. I'm gonna be honest, you guys, I'm not but up 11 yet, okay? I had the RS outside of the shop the other day, and from like 5 feet away, the car looks great. And this could just be because I built the car, I live with the car, I see everything on the car, so I have a tendency to hyper focus on things that are wrong with it, and I think that's ruining my perspective on the car. I think the car looks phenomenal, except for all of these little discrepancies that I see. And once again, I think that's just one of the things that I see, but it's getting to me where, because dude, I feel like I can't do bodywork and paint right, if that makes sense. Like, I am not a bodywork person, I'm not a paint person, so I'm not expecting perfection, but there's things in the car that genuinely bother me. So I don't know if I'm going to finish the bodywork or if I'm going to take the car to a shop and pay a shop to do it. It's just that these things bother me so much, and you guys probably don't see them, but let me show you. There's like a little tiny handful of things that just drive me up the wall, where it's all I can't look at the bigger picture of the car to see everything that we've done and completed so far. I just hyper focus on these little details. Wide body needs to come out 2 to 3 millimeters. Clear coat sagged in this one spot. A little bit wavy on this body line. Wide body needs to come out 1 millimeter here. Wide body needs to come out 1 millimeter here. There's low spots all along the middle of the door right there. Paint got dinged right here and chipped on the edge of the door. It's just like, I have spent so much time on bodywork and everything, and to me, everything looks and feels perfect when I'm wet sanding, when I'm using guide coat, when I'm doing all this stuff. Then I go to paint it, and then I see all these things. Or I test fit panels before final assembly, and then on final assembly, I see all these issues. So it's like, am I being too hypercritical? Or I don't, like I said, I don't know. It's just, it makes me, I feel very frustrated with the RS right now. So I think putting it on the back burner, waiting for the rest of these body panels, and then doing stuff, once all of that comes in, is probably the smarter move here. I think I have a form of autism or something, I don't know. But regardless, the RS is gonna go on the back burner for a little while until the rest of our body panels come in. Our roof should be done and in the shop in about 4 weeks. The rear bumper, we just got clearance from customs to bring our 22B bumper in. The front fenders will be done end of January. The front bumper has just shipped out from Poland, so I don't think it'll be too long till we get the rest of these body panels in. Mechanically, the car is pretty much done and sound. We just need to finish putting everything together, get our glass in, and then we can go drive this thing around and actually start tuning it a little bit. But outside of that, the 06 STR giveaway STI is gonna be tuned by Junior this week. The 15 STI, the white one, I might be tuning that this week. I'm intentionally gonna try to blow that car up because I wanna rebuild it anyways. So we're gonna have some fun with some of the other cars going on right now. But with the RS, it's gonna chill until everything else gets here. Maybe I just need to step away from this car for a little bit, focus on something else. But with that's all I've got for you guys on this one. I'm off the rails right now. If you guys liked the video, if you're hyped with everything we got going on, go ahead and hit that like button, turn it black, blue, green, yellow, silver, purple, cyan. If you haven't entered our giveaway yet on the 06 STI and you want to, you've got till January 31st. Every $5 you guys spend on our site, which will be linked down below in the description, will get you 1 entry into winning the 06 STI. And I think that's it. If you're not subscribed and you want to be able to put in one of these corners, and with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. So peace out, homies.